Hi there everybody, my name is Kate. Welcome to my channel, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. Let's talk about weather today. Let's talk about the nature elements and how we can best work with them and utilize their energy in a very synergistic way, especially when weather is volatile. It carries a lot of energy, a lot of very frenetic energy, a lot of very activated energy. So if we can hop into that somehow and really align with that energy, we can align with it in such a way that whatever the nature element is bringing, if it's wind, if it's fire, water, disruption of earth, whatever it is, when we're working with that element and we understand it and we can get into the energy of it, that can help us clear out some blockage or some spot in us to bring healing, which is ultimately what ascension is, or higher consciousness is, or building our spiritual repertoire. Is really about opening up a dark spot in us, in our consciousness, in the collective consciousness, in something. If we're observing it, that means that it's a part of our collective conscience and our collective consciousness. Whether or not we adopt it fully as an idea or embrace it as a theme in our lives, or we're healing our way out of that, it's just a matter of peering in on it, whatever it is, without judgment, ideally, and without wasting any time and clearing it out on any notion in our lives or in the world that does not serve us or the world, or us and the world. Pardon me, it's not an either or. That we learn how to use our nature elements and our nature spirit, meaning that we are a part of the natural world. We are a part of the cosmos as well. We're all made and formed in the same soup. Then we all come from the same soup, and it's utilizing every element of that soup that is really serving the collective good of humanity, the collective good of Gaia, and the collective movement of this planet into higher consciousness, which is going anyway, with or without anyone's permission. Human wise, we don't get a vote on that. It's going anyway. It's already leaving. It's left the station. It's, constantly moving upwards. It's just that we experience things a whole lot better, and we can really help to dislodge some ignorance and some dark places by working with what is naturally, organically here already, and that is the nature spirits, for sure. They've been here for time eternal on the planet. Then they know what they're doing. Nature knows itself far better than we do, and so why not use her ability to help us understand ourselves better, and then help her heal from the abuse that we have put upon her. I came out this morning and the sky looks really crazy. It's very gray. It's very obvious that there's going to be a storm, and what do you know, I checked my map or my weather app, and there's going to be a storm. It's predicting what I can actually see. Thanks. But they're predicting anywhere from, half an inch to 300 in the next 48 hours. So I was kind of knowing that was coming, but when I came out today, I went, oh yeah, okay. And the sun is shining right now, so it seems like, but back there towards the mountains, it's already coming in. The storm is settling in over the peak, and it's going to be wending its way down into the valley here in a matter of a couple hours. So the very first thing that I got when I saw that and it started downloading was, oh, we're going to be using nature elements. We're going to be using wind, water today, and weather pattern. We're going to be using that storm, which is bringing some wind, and it's bringing some cold for sure, and it's bringing tumultuous, kinetic, static energy that is going to be moving in a very specific way, patterned out for the storm. That I don't have anything to do with that, nor do I want to. I'm not talking about jumping in and trying to redirect storms away from me, or trying to manipulate the natural world in any way whatsoever. In my opinion, that's a big old fat no-no, that I would get in busily and start directing it around. If I'm working with nature elements and working in such a way that my energy is being used to, bring healing, etc., then I have to assume that if I'm working with it with that intention, that I'm not going to try to push that weather away in any particular direction. I'm not going to try to make it less or more. I'm going to work with it so that I can better accommodate what the after results are, and so that I can lessen the trauma to my own experience, no matter what happens. And frequently, by bringing that point of contact in from a human being, a light being of some kind, the natural world can be ameliorated and soothed to some degree and help to bring some of that chaotic energy more into balance. Again, though, it's critical for me that I not go in with the assumption that I'm going to push the storm away from me because I'm afraid of what it might do. How may I experience this better? And if I do not like, constant tornadoes, perhaps I move from a place where, it's not designated tornado alley, or hurricanes, or, whatever, or snow. And so that's part of the bitter truth of being a mature person and a spiritual being too, is that even if I'm looking at a weather pattern or a storm of some kind that has the potential to completely destroy my car, or cause roof damage or something like that, I have to assume that everything is working for my highest good. And if I'm there to bring in the highest good for me and for the nature elements and the area around me, all of it, whatever it is that I'm aligning with, doesn't mean I'm aligning to destroy. It means I'm aligning for the healing that's here, because the natural world works in accordance very beautifully with the ascended realms, because it is an ascended realm. It understands that pure loving frequency very, very well, and knows how to exemplify that and how to bring the cleansing and the clearing. It's just that there's a lot of battling, warring interest with human beings who don't want their house destroyed, or don't want their livestock harmed. They don't want their crops ruined, and those are all reasonable things. They're very reasonable things to have concern about, and definitely to take prudent action. However, we're fighting against a losing tide if we believe that if that's the plan, or the designated, this is where it's happening, then we're going to lose our crop, we're going to lose our livestock, we're going to lose our house, whatever it is, at whatever level that, we experience it, and that particular instance in our lives at that particular time is meant for our highest good. And the best way that we can ensure that it is for our highest good is to experience it as such, and not look at it so much as, now my life is ruined. So rather than, like I said, go in and try to micromanage the natural world in any way whatsoever, it's about aligning with it, and how can I best be assigning with it, so that I know whatever the outcome is, what my part is in that. I spoke to a gentleman probably about a year ago now that was asking me some questions on social media about some spiritually related stuff, and it was shortly after he said this that I went, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to talk to you anymore, because he was talking about hurricanes that happened in Florida about a year ago, a little more than a year ago now, late season storms, two back to back, within a couple months of one another, that were absolutely devastating and destroying to the area. Ironically enough, the area that I grew up in, the neighborhood specifically, got flooded, and the area that I went to high school and junior high and elementary school, all separate neighborhoods, all got flooded. And then neighborhoods of very specific people that I no longer really engage with on any level, except energetically when it comes swinging through, like in a purification with wind and storm and that kind of thing. But this man, a year ago, whenever he was asking questions, and he said, well, I just direct those hurricanes away, I just do this, because he had he stated that he had Native American history behind him, which, I'm not going to question that. And even if he did, it's still, in terms of my downloads and what I understand, it's a wrong interpretation of how to use that power to call in the nature elements to do your bidding. I know what the Bible says about dominion and all that, and I also don't follow the Bible as my handbook or my guidebook exclusively. I follow the red words that Jesus said, and the rest of it is really evolving into something more collaborative than what it's been in the past, where we try to direct, whole hurricanes and whole this, that, or the other onto somewhere else. And whenever I question him about it, I said, that's an interesting theory. What would be your reason that you would want to actually move the entire hurricane out of the path of anywhere in particular? And I'm not sure this truck sees me. He's not sure he sees me either. Now he's sure he sees me. Oops, got into that blind spot. Yeah. That anyway, when I said, why would you want to do that? What's your motivation for that? Unfortunately, he wasn't real, lit right at the beginning with, and defensive. He just said, well, because I have family down there. Oh, so you have an interest in seeing that storm hit somebody else's family rather than yours, so you've got a vested interest in it. If you didn't, you wouldn't care, right? If you did not have family down there in the path of that, would you be working so hard? Would you be so concerned? Would you even pay attention? Or would it just be, a soundbite on the news that, oh well, a couple of devastating hurricanes, oh well. But his response, though he did get agitated, and I, just cut the communication with him, he got agitated over time, over the next couple of days, because of that same point of why would you want to manipulate that? But he did say, well, no, I really wouldn't care. I wouldn't have an interest in it. And I said, so why would you wish to mess with what could be quite divine order? That if you're bringing into it your intention to bring divine order and to bring, soothing and comfort, can you accept the fact that it may still look like a whole entire East Coast for miles is going to go into the sea, and that it's going to be ruined and devastated? Can you still believe that you offered healing, and that you offered your pure intention to bring order into this in the highest good? And he really couldn't, because his best idea was far better than God's, the universe, or the weather, or anything else. He was sure that, well, I have the right answer, because nobody should have to go through that. Well, again, that's part of the price that we pay for living on planet Earth, is that this is a school of sorts, and the school of life in general, whether you believe anything spiritual or not, is that we are tasked with the accomplishments that we need to get through in order to survive the day or thrive the day. And for me, the thriving part happens far more easily when I'm not trying to boss the traffic around, or boss the weather around, or boss anything else around. How could weather possibly have a message for me? Well, weather is a very, very, very powerful expression of energy. Excuse me, it's a very powerful manifestation of energy, and it's a very powerful force. When you think about the natural world and the four elements, and that fifth element we don't really know a whole lot about, if we take into account all of the possibilities that weather can bring to us. When I came out this morning, I kind of knew that we were going to get anywhere from a half an inch to 1,200 inches. Though I like the snow, I can't say that I always love the feeling of the storms. They sometimes, can get a little bit intimidating. They can. And what came in today was so comforting. Was, wow, this is looking like it's more going to be towards the, several inches of snow, and that it's already building up some, activity over the peak, and it's really getting cloudy, overcast, and you can see the storm is already taking effect, up in the mountains. That's only a matter of hours before it will be here, and it changes how the static electricity, if you will, in the air, the energy in the air is excitable, and it's excited in a very different way. And for people who feel that kind of, static electricity in the air, if they're experiencing that as something fearful or bad, or people that are experiencing those, excitable energies around them can pick up on the volatility that's quite possible with nature. And nature is unpredictable in that we can look at the patterns and we can predict what the pattern will do. However, Mother Nature's happy to tell us, peekaboo, I have something else to show you that you weren't expecting. And not because Mother Nature is mean. It's not that the four elements are mean or nasty, or meteorology has it out for us. Specifically, it's that the Earth has to burp and fart and do what she needs to do to release pressure and to reach balance and homeostasis for herself. Everything in this world is constantly seeking homeostasis. That's what we all go for, regardless of whether we are there or not. It's what we all seek. There's not a human being on the world that isn't seeking balance. It's just that most of us don't understand that we're seeking balance by trying to execute it ourselves. However, we're seeking balance. Nature seeks balance. The universe seeks balance. It's a very orderly and methodical system. Even though there's chaos, it brings about the balance that we're looking for. And the more that we go in line with that, the better we'll experience these times of snow or rain or hail or fire or flood or hurricane, tornado, whatever it is, whatever the tumultuous weather is in our lives. And I mean the actual weather, it applies also metaphysically and metaphorically to, the stormy relationship or the stormy job. But basically, if we run with the energy of the storm itself, of the weather pattern, work with the natural world and the nature elements and speak to them and say, what is it in me that's feeling kind of intimidated or afraid or worried about this snowstorm? What is it in me that can embrace this energy and allow whatever Mother Nature is doing to balance herself, which there's no fault given, there's no fault given. Earth has to rebalance herself. She has to have natural occurrences for her to do that because she is the natural world. And so she has to balance that out by releasing pressure or doing whatever energetically needs to be done. And the more that we as human beings can align with that and be okay with whatever the outcome is, that no, I can't say that I just want to see my car destroyed, by a huge hailstorm, or that I want to see people's crops destroyed by terrible snowfall and bitter, drought or anything like that. I don't care to see the suffering of it. However, I do care to align with whatever the natural world is assigning here. It is for the good. It is for the good. And as long as I can keep bringing myself back to the discipline of this is for the good of my life and everyone here. It's not random. There's good in this. So let me find the best outcome in this for me, even if my car is destroyed, even if I lose livestock, in that terrible fire, even if, and I'm not saying that we don't have grief or that we don't have sadness or even irritation, anger, outrage, abandonment of the natural world and God, all of these feelings can come up. And what is really most beneficial is to understand that there's nothing unkind or mean about the natural world. It's just how we experience it. And the more that we can align with what the natural world is showing us, teaching us, and giving us patterns and symbology about, the more that we can see that and really integrate it into our lives, that means that we can organically integrate with the nature elements themselves. We can feel those strange poppings in our energy, that frenetic stuff and kinetic stuff that these storms will bring, or these natural occurrences can bring. We can align with that and say, okay, I'm feeling the discomfort of that. How can I bring peace and harmony to this feeling while doing what I need to remain safe as best as I know to, and understand that there is no punishment if I'm harmed in a storm. It's not punishment. It is meant for my good, and it will not be used for my good if I do not allow myself to see the good or experience that in any other way except that was just terrible. That was the most horrible thing that ever happened. It can be difficult to move through those feelings when we've lost something or we feel like, something is threatened or whatever. However, that is really, truthfully, what comes from it is the best lesson of knowing that it is meant for my good. Where is it? Where do I find it? How can I align with this to be in accordance with what is for the highest good? And with nature elements particularly, and today definitely, you might be able to see some of this over here. It's creeped down just in the last 45 minutes. So it's gotten dark and the sun is completely gone now. So this is likely to be quite tumultuous. I just feel that. And so what I got today in the download was we're going to play with nature in a different way. And I don't mean play with nature as in, disrespect nature. I mean, we're going to work with these energies. We're going to get right there with them and feel those uncomfortable things that bring up the discomfort of, ooh, that feels funky, and know that it is being charged and challenged through the weather that we're coming into Mercury retrograde. This is a very emotional time for a lot of people. It's holiday time. We have a lot of things going around on the planet that are devastating. There's lots of reasons for people to feel triggered and to feel completely ignited by something as simple as the charged particles in the air, from a storm that's coming. And I can assure you the download I got today was use this storm today to clear out whatever's in your way, and to clear out whatever's in the path of anybody that's in your collective that you do work for, that you don't need to know anything about it. Just do the work, period, because the work has to be done. Doesn't matter, who, what, why, when, where. We can do the road bear on it some other time or never, because it's irrelevant most of the time. Just do the work and know that those feelings of discomfort and weirdness, they're being brought up for a reason to clear. And the more that I align with this storm, by the time this storm has come in the next couple of hours, I'm not even going to give it a couple of hours before this starts laying down some powder, that it will get blowy, it will absolutely rain, snow, it will have some tumultuous feeling stuff. And the more that I align, I'm absolutely certain that as it continues to hit the ground, that I will continue to reach peace and resolution and harmony with it, because the storm is about kicking up, for the emotional storm is about kicking up all of those lost parts, that residue, getting the bottom of the barrel, whatever it is, to unstick this, ungank this, shake this apart, disrupt this, get this completely googly gooped, get that tarry yuck, and water it out, thin it out. And nature, the natural world and the nature elements work vehemently to work with us to do that, because they already naturally do that. The natural world already knows how to clear and balance itself, and has no problem with teaching the rest of us, the humans on the planet, because we can see the patterns if we're open to see it. And so by the time this storm has completely enveloped this area, it's bringing some sort of cleansing. I already got that message that it's bringing some sort of a cleansing and a clearing by blowing heavily, and the amount of snow that's dropped, whatever it is, and whatever system that it causes to break, whether it's just in my own mind of I'm, have nothing to fear here, there's no reason to worry about anything, blah, 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 me as an individual, or me working on behalf of individuals who would be experiencing fear. Anybody that's standing in courage and standing as a light is doing good for those that might be 1,200 million miles away and can hear, sense, see, taste, touch, whatever, somehow perceive that light is on. Baba-Det left the light on for you. Well, God left the light on for us. The universe left the light on for us. And if we're having trouble seeing that, it can be helpful to know that there are other people on the planet who left the light on, who turned the light on, and they're leaving the light on by refusing to do anything except align with, how do I get into line with this? How do I get jiggy with this and do my best work and serve my best purpose and bring the highest outcome for everyone involved? And it will not always, a bunch of geese. Beautiful. Don't often see them right there in the business lawn. 50 of them. That's not usual to see them there. But welcome, geese. So the best way that I can align with that energy and reassign it, and take all the tumultuous, chaotic stuff and move that in a new direction, to be able to embrace that and to know that no matter what the outcome is, even if it looks bad, there is good in it. What is the good for me? What can I learn from this? How can I get what I need to out of this, so that I'm not just wasting my time? Because if I overlook this opportunity to see this as a growth point and as for my good, it will come back to me. If I experienced it terribly, I've got nothing good to say about it. I didn't learn my lesson. Whatever, however we embrace that notion, then something similar will come along again. It turns into a theme, or it already is a theme that we're just continuing to outrun. And getting a new layer of an old theme is what it's all about, because we don't always clear the themes of our lives in one fell swoop. Very few of us are able to do that, so it takes layer upon layer to get the job done. So as a storm is coming in, to envelop Colorado Springs in the next couple of hours, however many inches it brings, no matter what devastation it may bring or what notional, visitation it may bring, getting in alignment with the nature elements and not working in any way whatsoever to push it around and tell it to leave Colorado Springs alone, go somewhere else, none of that. That I'm working in alignment with this, that I'm getting an assignment with this. How can I mind meld with this energy so that I can feel the disruption, use that chaotic energy that's bubbling up all the blah, of whatever. Let's get that up and out, and with that snow, cleanse and clear, and breeze, the wind, whatever it is, use whatever's given to me, the tools that are given to me, use that so that I can clear that negative energy. So with that, I hope that's been something helpful for you, and I hope you enjoy your day, whatever part of the day you're in. And remember, get within your skin, friend, because you're divine. It's absolutely fine. Take care. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye, friends.